Hey, it's Mel and today I'm filming my April wrap up and May TBR. I don't think I read that many books this month because first of all I'm ill, second of all I have 4 GCSEs to do, and third of all of the books that I want to read are like really long. Anyway, the first book that I read last month was Hex Hall by Rachel Hawkins. I'm pretty sure this is the first book in the Hex Hall series. This is about a girl who goes to this boarding school for magical people and people start dying, and then there's this weird ghost lady and things get weird very quickly, and there's also like a stupid romance thing, and it wasn't great. It's definitely for younger readers. And even though I read it basically purely so that I could have more things to take from for the thing that I'm writing, because I'm writing a thing about boarding school with witches, it was weird and I don't think it was that helpful, but I think that I'll only continue on with the series if someone like recommends it to me or something, but it just wasn't that great, which is kind of disappointing, seeing as the next book that I read in April was Lady Renegades by Rachel Hawkins. This series, the Rebel Belle trilogy, this being the last one, is one of my favourite series ever because it's amazing. I mean, the one thing that I don't really like about it is that it's first person, and so was the other Rachel Hawkins books, but it's just, I'll get over it because it's a really good series, basically about this girl who's like prom queen, head of all of the clubs, Little Miss Perfect, and then someone dies and kisses her and it's weird, and then she kills someone and then she freaks out, and then everything starts going back to the way it was before, apart from 2 people were dead, and then she finds out that now she has to protect the one guy in the entire town that she isn't that fond of. And then there's actually a romance that I was rooting for instead of not rooting for, which is a very rare thing. I can name like 3 instances of this ever happening. It's just a fun, interesting fantasy thing that's kind of like a contemporary, but then kind of gets really dark, but the character still stays fundamentally the same. This was one of my most highly anticipated releases of this year, and I'm really happy with it. The next book wasn't one I was necessarily fond of or that into at all, but was like kind of better than I expected, and that was The Assassin's Curse by Cassandra Rose Clark, because the only reason I got this and the second book is because the publishing house went out of business, and if you feel like you want to read a book that isn't around anymore, you're kind of gonna face a dilemma. And it wasn't great. I mean, you can tell why the publishing house went out of business, but it wasn't that terrible. I mean, the start was kind of weird and I didn't really understand what was happening, and then when they got to the magic thing it was kind of cool and it kind of got interesting. I think I'm gonna read the second one just because I have it. If I didn't have it, I would probably just never think of it ever again. But it was kind of cool with the whole desert thing. Also, pirates are really cool. And the last book that I read in the month of April was by far my favourite book that I've read probably this year, and that is The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater, the last book in the Raven Cycle series, or whatever the 4-book series is called. This was amazing. Literally, if you don't know about the Raven Boys, just read it because it's like the best written thing that I've ever read. Basically about this girl called Blue. She lives in a house full of psychic women, and she is not actually psychic, but she kind of improves people's powers, and she has been told since the age of 6 that when she meets her true love, if she kisses him, he'll die. And then this lady comes and she's all like, this is the year you'll fall in love, and then she sees the spirit of this guy called Gainsey, and then she meets the real Gainsey, and then she dates Adam, and all of the relationships and friendships are like really intense and intricate, and just these characters are amazing. So we've known that Gainsey was going to die from the first book, and this is the 4th book, and this is the one where he dies because Maggie Stiefvater. I'm not going to say anything about like the plot or anything, but like it's really cool, and I'm pretty sure that whatever I've seen anyone on Tumblr saying that they wanted from this book, we got. So those were all of the books that I read in the month of April. Now onto the books that I hope to read in the month of May, and the first of them being The Trials of Apollo by Rick Riordan, the new Rick Riordan book, which is can have a bit of Percy and Nico and stuff, and I'm really excited, even though I'm still kind of bitter about Apollo because of the Song of Achilles, because he was kind of involved in the whole killing of Patroclus thing, and I know it's been like thousands of years, but I'm still not over it. Basically a continuation with the whole Percy Jackson world with Greek and Roman demigods. You can probably tell that there are a lot of books coming out around this time, and it's kind of making me anxious because I want to read all of them as soon as I get them. And this happened a while ago with when like 5 books came out on the same day. That was like Twilight, Gender Bent, and then Carry On, and then the new Rick Riordan book and the new Patrick Ness book in like a day, and it was all hectic. So far I have not been disappointed by the new releases this year by authors that I love, so hopefully this won't suck. The next book that I plan on reading, I'm currently like halfway through. It's just Child of Apollo comes out tomorrow, and I'm probably just gonna put it down and not think about it for a while. And that is These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. This is about a rich little 16-year-old and a poor little 19-year-old boy, and they get thrown onto a planet and they have to try and survive, and romance ensues. I'm not very fond of it. I mean, I really want to like this book. Maybe it picks up, I don't know. She like never does anything, and also there isn't really a backstory, and it's just mainly focused on the two of them bickering. Sci-fi is kind of tricky for me because normally I don't like it, but sometimes I do like it, and it's just, you never know. It's also got this really weird thing where it's like Victorians but in space. Also, pretty sure it's like legal to have a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old together. I mean, it's interesting, it just doesn't seem like my thing. And after that, I'll hopefully, if I'm not too busy being swamped by GCSEs in the space of 2 weeks, be reading Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor, the last book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, which may be one of my favourite series of all time. I mean, I kind of have a lot. It's like one of 5 series that I'm like really fond of. There's also been the top like 2. This and The Raven Cycle are like, I love them. They're great. This is a series about a girl who has grown up in this room surrounded by chimeras, which are half humans, half animals, and she's only been able to go outside for a couple years, and she keeps be able to learn all of these languages like fluently, and she's currently an art student, and just like the settings are amazing. And then some stuff happens and she finds out about her past, and she finds out about these people that look like angels, and it's kind of biblical but not really. It's like, who do you think inspired all of the angels versus the demons? And it's really cool, and there's wars, and this series is just epic and amazing. And maybe I'll get around to reading An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, because apparently it's good and I know nothing about it, like nothing at all. Maybe it's fantasy? I mean, probably. I'd hope so. Brandon Sanderson seems to like it, and I have some of his books. Haven't read them. I mean, why would I have? I have a lot of books. Not much I can say about this one because I don't know. Second to last book that I'm gonna probably not going to read this month is An Introduction to Feminism by Laura Finlayson, because I literally have no room on my non-fiction shelf, and I just got more non-fictions, so I really need to read them, and I haven't read like any of them ever, so I need to get on that. Also, my TA's friend wrote this, and that's cool, and she kept yelling at me to read it, and that was like a long time ago, so I need to get on this. And lastly, we have The Diviners by Libba Bray, just cause. I mean, I don't even know anything about this one. I think it's fantasy, might be historical. This is a really cool edition that has like newspaper in it. I'm pretty sure it's either the 20s or the 50s. And it's just a beautiful book, but it's kind of big and kind of intimidating. And historical fantasy with possible queer characters is like my jam and my favourite things. So those are all of the books that I wanted to share with you. I hope you enjoyed. Bye!